Hey guys, welcome to my video on how I draw a face from the front view. This isn't the typical start with a circle and draw two lines. I wish I could draw using those guidelines, but for some reason this is so much easier to me than starting with a circle. I think when I draw starting with a circle, I'm too focused on actually placing the individual guidelines correctly instead of focusing on the overall drawing. I don't know if this method will work for everyone, but it does for me, so I thought I'd share it anyway. So let me just show you what I do. I first start off by drawing just one eye. I then duplicate that eye 4 times and align it horizontally. Both of the eyes are always at least 1 eye width apart. Merge the second and the fourth eye, those are your main eyes, and then put the other 3 on their own layer and lower the opacity. Next, I'm using the straight line tool to draw 2 lines in between our 2 main eyes. These 2 lines can be any length. This is the part where we determine the top of the head and the bottom of the chin. I use the rectangle tool, and the first rectangle, the bottom of it will be splitting the eye in half. A circle here would actually be really helpful to determine the bottom of the chin, but I usually just eyeball it and then correct it as I go. So yeah, I just draw 2 rectangles, kind of determining where I think the top of the head should be, and then I duplicate it and drag it down to the bottom of the rectangle, and the bottom of that will be where the chin is. From here, I start with the chin and draw the jaw and then the head. In the next clip, I will show you how I determine where all of the curves are, because that's always the hardest part for me. Correctly drawing the curve of the jaw so I know where to place my mouth and my nose and my ears. This is why I draw the 4 lines and the outermost eyes, because they act as a guide for how I draw my character. When drawing from the chin to the jaw, I start angling it once it hits that first guideline, and then I sort of angle it toward the bottom of that left eye guideline, and once it hits the bottom, I draw a line straight up, straight in the middle of the eye, and then draw the top of the head. To determine where the ears will go, I start off by dividing that bottom rectangle in half, and then this is just basic anatomy proportion stuff. The bottom of the ear is in line with the bottom of the nose, and then the top of the ear is in line with the eyes. In normal drawing tutorials, that line that I use to divide the rectangle is where the bottom of the circle would be. I draw the nose a little bit above that line, and I usually end up moving it up or down later, so I don't worry too much about it here. To place the mouth, I divide the bottom half of that rectangle in half, and then that bottom line is where the bottom of my lip is. The lip is always the hardest part for me to draw for some reason, so I don't really have advice, but if you have advice for me, please tell me, because I need help. The eyebrows are pretty easy to draw, and proportion wise, the front of the eyebrow is in line with the inner corner of the eye. And yes, I'm duplicating and flipping my eyebrow, because if you draw something once and it looks good, why should you draw it again, you know? To determine the hairline, draw a line straight down from the eyebrow to the line that's below the ear, and then duplicate it and move it upwards. The top of that is where your hairline is. We're almost done, guys. Okay, next is the neck and the shoulders. I'll usually place the lines for the neck anywhere in this general area, depending on how I want my character to look. I'm going to draw the pupils and hair and tweak some of the features. In the next clip, you'll see the final result. And here it is, all finished. I did move around some features and kind of round out his jaw. I adjusted the guidelines a little bit to fit and show you that it still works. I also colored it, so I'll put that on the screen as well. That's pretty much it. I hope this wasn't too confusing, because even explaining it was difficult for me, and I'm sure it's 100 times easier to just use a circle guideline, but this just makes more sense in my brain. I've only done this method with the front view, and I'm sure there's some way to make it work for the side or other angles, but I haven't tried yet. Let me know if this was helpful in any way. I'd be very happy if even just one person who struggles to draw with other guidelines got something out of this. So yeah, that's all. Thanks for watching.